Hello and welcome! You're here with Miss Libby Rose. Hello! And in today's sewing tutorial we're going to be making this vintage inspired super wide brim 1940s style with the tie up front summer hat. So if you want to gather up your materials you will need 3 fat quarter pieces, so 3 full fat quarter pieces, your sewing machine, scissors, pins, interfacing, and download the pattern and all the other sewing paraphernalia bits, stitch rippers if you need it, your iron especially, so iron and interfacing too. So if you gather up all your materials and then see me back at the table and we'll get started. So now that you've got all of your materials together and you've downloaded your pattern pieces, I'd like you to take this brim pattern piece first of all, please. So we've got 2 pieces stuck together to make up this, this piece that we're going to use. So if you take your fat quarter, fold it in half and half again. So it's out, I fold it in half, and in half again. Then I place this brim piece where it's indicated to go on the fold. So I put it on the fold. Show you. So one side is slightly longer and you'll see that. So one side's going to fit. If I tried to do it the other way, it's not working. All right, so this way. There's a fold there and a fold there. I lay it in and then I cut around. I do the same for my other piece of fat quarter and then I do the same for the interfacing so that you have pieces that come out in a big brim like that, all in one piece. When you cut out this part here, you'll see that you create a circle type shape, and that is what you will use for the top of the hat. So now I have my brims, 2 brims, 2 tops of the hat, brim interfacing, and all I need last of all is these rectangular pieces. So they're the side of the hat. Now if you take a fat quarter and cut down the long edge, so you just use this rectangular for the width and just get that full length all the way down, and we have 4 of those all together. So 4 long rectangular pieces, 2 brims, 2 interfacing and 2 top. And that is all of your pieces cut and ready, and we are good to go. First things first, I'm going to take 2 of the long rectangular pieces, place them with right sides together and just sew down one of the sides so that you've got 2 very long rectangular pieces. And now I take my top. So I've got 2 tops. I'm going to fold them in half and press so that I can tell where the center line is. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to press down. I go to the top fold, and line up the seam to the top fold, and I'm now going to sew the whole way round. So now we are going to attach this. So now we're going to attach the brim. So this is what we want to do. So you've got this kind of elephant trunk hanging off the front. I promise it all comes together and it does work well. So we're going to be creating this by taking what we've just done. So we've just attached on the long rectangular bit to the top. I'm now going to take my brim, and again I want the two centers. So the center front at the top. So you will know that it does go sort of longer and shorter around to try and get that brim as big as we could. So the longers should be on the outside. So if I do the center front, see, I'm just folding it with the fold of the fat quarter. These are the two shorter fronts, and I'm going to use that as my center front, line that up with the center front. So I've got my center front seam and my center front fold on the brim. Then I will follow that around So I'm going to follow that around until I get to that center back fold. So you will get there and you'll still have these hanging off the end, and that's good. And then you'll just go to the other side, center front, and sew that all the way down. So we're creating this. So it's the whole way around, but leaving these bits hanging out. So I've gone the whole way around my edges, and you'll see that there's still a hole in the back here where these pieces are. So I'll put those right sides together, rest of the hat out of my way, right sides together. Snip on an angle. And so from here, around, around, around. So you're closing it all up. And then you will just turn it all through and press it nice and flat, and it will look like this. And then we're ready for the next step. Then let's apply some interfacing to the brims. So flip it. Let's keep it the wrong way up. It's always good to get the interfacing when you're ironing down on it. So I check which side's my glue. So there's a matte side and a shiny side. The shiny side is the glue side. And I pop this around the hat, iron, iron, iron. And if you've done two, do that on this one as well. So get the matte side up facing you, shiny side down, and iron that all around the brim. Now really make sure that these tails are out and they've been pressed down. I know we've already done that stage, but I just want to make sure that you have. Then put right sides together, making sure the tails are on the same side. And start to pin the whole way around the brim. The whole way around, because you're going to be sewing all of this up and leaving a gap where these tails are sticking out. So tuck those tails in if you need to, pop a pin in there, but that's where you're going to be leaving a gap. So now you can go right ahead, sew the whole way around the edge, leaving a gap where the tails are, please. And after you have sewn it all together, leaving the gap, before you turn it through, do your notches or little cuts up to the stitch line the whole way around the brim. So this is probably like one of the most important things that you'll do, because you really want this sitting nicely. This is the finishing. It'll just look a lot nicer if it can fold around and leave you a nice crease when you press it. So going around little cuts or notches. If you want to be really professional, you can do little triangles, but I just do little notches. It does the same thing. Just makes it nicer for when you turn it through. And now you can go to your gap and turn it all through the right way. So how did you get on? Now, last of all is this gap at the top. Now, you can just run a little top stitch over that or hand stitch it, and then you turn this up and tie up the ties. And then you've got a wide brim with a little hat piece in the middle. Oops, still got threads hanging down. And you can style it up. And what I thought is doing the fat quarter skirt or the kimono to match might be quite cool too. But yes, you could do all sorts with playing with the tie or however you'd like to wear it. So have fun, and I can't wait to see you again for the next make. Bye for now.